Hello, this is Samir Machwe and welcome to the new series Think Abundance. This is episode number 6 and all of you know by now that here in this Think Abundance series we discuss ideas, thoughts, stories, articles, books and anything, almost anything that helps us to grow and seek abundance. And we do this because our basic design is growth. Everything in nature seeks growth, everything in nature seeks abundance. So, this is what we do here in this series. In today's episode, we are going to define very important thing. 3 words that we use every now and then, very commonly we use it in our everyday usage. These 3 words we are going to define and trying to understand what they really mean. Of course, these are very common words. These words are the poor, the middle class, and the rich. We always talk about these 3 categories of people in our world, right? And many times when this word falls on our ears, poor, we think of people who are typically wearing very dirty clothes, typically the beggars that we see on traffic signals. Those kind of people we tend to think of being poor. People who have no place to live or they have a very bad place to live. The people who live in the hutments, juggi jhopdis, that is what we think are poor, right? This is the common belief. Then the middle class, when this word falls on our ears, we think of these people who have decent incomes, who afford a decent lifestyle. They have good homes, proper homes. They own vehicles. They wear good clothes. And this is what is the general perception of the people who are middle class. The third one is the rich. Normally, when we hear this word rich, we think these are the people with lot of money, with big homes. They have a good car, 1 or 2 or multiple cars branded of the best brands of the cars, the Audis and the Mercedes. They wear branded clothes, the Louis Philippe and the Raymond kind of thing. They own club memberships. These are the people who travel a lot. These are the perceptions. These are the general things about the poor, middle class, and the rich that we think. But I beg to differ with all these definitions. I don't say that these definitions are wrong, they have their own place. But technically speaking, when you talk from the domain of money, these definitions, according to me, my experience, they don't hold good. So today, I'm going to define these definitions for you. I'm going to make them clear to you based on my experience of working with my own clients for last more than 21 years and dealing with their financial domains very closely, right? So let us do that exercise now. Poor, according to me, the poor are not the people who don't have income or have little income. Actually, the poor, the middle class and the rich, they are not people. They are not people categories. Actually, they are mental states when it comes to dealing with money. They define the financial state of mind of people. That is how I look at it. So, poor, who are the poor people? Poor people are having no savings. For them, the expenses are equal to their incomes, and sometimes these expenses are even greater than their incomes. So it doesn't depend on their income. I have a few people in my life whom I know very closely. They have got good incomes into few lakhs per month. Still, at the end of the month, they are not left with any money. Practically, they exhaust all their income by end of the month. So these are the poor people who live in good houses, who have decent incomes, who wear good clothes, who even drive a car, but mentally on the domain of money, on in the financial parlance, according to me, they are still poor people, because at the end of the month, they hardly retain any income. And mind you, you would be surprised, as many as poor people that live in hutments, there are equal number of poor people who live in the decent houses, but we think they are not poor because of the earlier definitions we talked about. So you don't have to have little money to be poor. Lot of people with lot of money are poor, according to me. You may agree or you may disagree, but the idea is not of finding the right definition. The idea is to check with ourselves in what category we fall, and then move to the category in which we want to be. So you might be in any of these three categories. The question is, do you want to stay there or do you want to move to a better category? That is the real question, and that is the thing why we are discussing this subject at all in today's episode. Good. So middle class, who are the middle class people? The middle class people are those who have little savings. Typically, they will save up to 10 to 15% of their incomes. So there would be a middle class person who earns less, maybe just 5 or 10,000 rupees a month. And if he manages to save 10 to 15%, then that person is called middle class. So what are these people doing? Middle class people are those who do not have much control on their expenses. However, they have slightly better control than the poor people, than the people who manage to exhaust all their income by end of the month. Right? So the middle class people have little savings, typically on the higher side, 15%. So check with yourself. Now that we have spoken about two categories, the poor who exhaust all their money irrespective of their incomes, and middle class who save little, typically 10 to 15% irrespective of their incomes. This is where we mess up. These are the definitions, according to me, in the domain of money and from the real life of people that I have seen from their world of the money, from their world of money. So this is how it appears. Rich. Now, rich people may not have very high income, but they have the ability to invest, to rather save. First thing is to save minimum 30% of their income. So this is what makes you rich here mentally. So first you have to be mentally rich, and then you can be physically rich. So first criteria is, if you are someone who is able to save 30% or more of your income, then there is a very high possibility that you will be rich. Now, when I say high possibility, it does not guarantee you that you will be rich, because the second thing that differentiates the rich from the poor and the middle class is the rich give first priority to investing these savings. So what do the rich think here in their brain? They think that they may be doing a job, not necessarily in a business, but they think that I will save from my income, I will keep my expenses low, and I will put that money to work for me. I will invest the money such that it grows over a period of time. So the rich are the people who know the formula, which is the easiest formula in the world to become rich, is to limit your expenses, to control your expenses, to work on increasing your income, and to invest the gap. That is what is how you get rich. Now, the rich people know this. So irrespective of their income, whether it is 5,000, 50,000 or 5 lakh, they have the habit of saving more than 30% of their income and then investing it diligently. Typically, they will take help of an expert when they invest. They will just not do it on their own. Most of the time, they will employ some expert and take his advice or her advice and then invest their money very, very responsibly. So these are the three definitions. Now, the middle class suffer the most, according to me. They have got the highest financial struggle, not the poor, because the poor are already so mentally poor that they don't even understand what is the struggle. So they bring the money home and they spend it, and they just keep repeating that cycle. But the middle class, they are stuck in between these two categories. That is why they are called the middle class. And there is the struggle that they constantly undergo. The middle class think that they want to be rich. That is what they think. But actually, they don't want to be rich, because the moment they try to be rich, they find that it is very, very difficult, because it takes a lot of discipline, and it asks for the first step is to control your expense. Now, the most difficult thing for most people in this world is to control their expenses. Hence, what the middle class do is they end up looking rich. So they will have their incomes and they will spend their incomes. And what would they spend their incomes on? They will spend their incomes on things that make others feel that these are rich people. So they will go out and buy branded clothes. They will go out and buy branded shoes. They will have a good house. Maybe they have taken a loan, but nobody sees the loan. People see your house. So they will buy a house on loan. They will spend on credit cards lavishly. They will try to portray a very lavish lifestyle. This is the struggle. And they will get themselves into debt. Debt is one part which is so typical of the middle class. So now, if you understand it very well, you can appreciate that these are not any certain category of people, the poor, the middle class, and the rich. It is a mindset, and you can move from one mindset to another very, very easily. It's only a matter of thinking and not a matter of money at all. So if you start thinking in a certain way that I will save 30%, minimum 30%, I say, out of my income, and then I will invest it responsibly, sorry, such that it grows over a period of time, you are on the way to be rich. So this is what I wanted to share in today's episode. I hope you think about these definitions, and I would really appreciate if you yourself did some introspection and find your own category in the new definitions that we have discussed and put it in the comments below. If you put it in the comments below, I am sure you will take actions to change that category. It's not mandatory, but it will take some courage to put it in the comments below. So let's see how many of you can dare to do that. That's all for now. Bye bye. Take care. Have an abundant life. See you in the next week.